Good evening, folks. Another live Q&A. Will you just throw down a comment there and check yourselves in, let me know who's watching, and we'll get into our questions. So the usual crack with the Wednesday night Q&A, I have about 5 or 6 different questions. Just going to work through them, questions that have been sent in to me by the public, questions that, just even conversations I've had with clients and stuff like that, that I think might bring value to you. So that's kind of the structure of it for anybody that hasn't been here before. Fergal, how are you? Good to see you on board, good man. Yeah, guys, if you're just staying, will you just hop down the comments, let me know you're there. Stacey, how are you? Yeah, numbers going up already. I hope you're enjoying the good weather, guys. It's not so great in the west of Ireland where I am. I think it's better around Dublin in that it's a lot clearer and sunnier. Quite overcast here. It's very, very warm. It's very humid. But yeah, kind of a blanket covering the sky. We're not really seeing much sun. Yeah, again, guys, just as you come in, will you just leave up a little comment and let me know who is here? And then I'm going to get straight into it. Right. Okay, I'm going to crack on, guys. We're probably going to have more coming in as we go, but as always, if you have any questions yourselves, you can just leave a comment and leave it up there, and I'll try to get it before the end if we can. I've a good bit to get to this evening, so I'm going to just get straight into it, and look, whoever is coming in will probably come in their own time. Okay, first one this evening. It was a question that was asked by one of my online clients, so I've started up the online group again about 2 weeks ago. So they're still finding their feet, they're finding their way around, they're asking questions, and a lot of stuff is new to them. Somebody asked me about baked beans. So it was basically, what's the line on baked beans? Is it pretty good to put them in or what? A couple of things on this. Absolutely fine. Beans are actually a really good source of protein. The other thing I said to him though was go for the no added sugar one if you can, because there is a bit of a difference. There's the regular beans and then there's the no added sugar. You might not think it's that much, but I did a bit of research on it for him and I've come back to him. And what I found was, I wrote the numbers down here because I knew I'd forget them. With the regular beans, so if you look at the nutritional information on the back, hi Sylvia, how are you? If you look at the nutritional information on the back, that's always where you get your information, by the way, folks. It's not the front of the packet, it's the back. That's where the real information is. So nutritional information, it was on the regular beans. I had it scroll down and you see per serving, so they were given 140 grams as a serving. That's not the whole tin of beans, it's the serving, so just your serving of beans. In the regular beans, the sugar content of 140 grams was 6.9 grams of sugar. So 6.9 grams of sugar was in a serving with the regular beans. I looked at the no added sugar beans. With the no added sugar beans, it was 2.4 grams. So that's quite a difference. So the regular one was 6.9 grams of sugar per serving. The no added sugar one was 2.4. So what I want you to bear in mind is, if you don't know this already, a spoon of sugar is 4 grams. So you're actually saving, between the two beans per serving, you're saving 4.5 grams. So just over a spoon of sugar in the difference per serving. And they taste exactly the same, folks. So there's no major difference there. Don't come back telling me the no added sugar ones are horrible. They taste exactly the same. So that was the first thing I just want to bring to your attention. And guys, please don't start throwing up a load of comments asking me about the contents of different foods. I'm not an encyclopedia. I don't know every nutritional information from every food product around the world off the top of my head. If you need help with that, actually, do you know what's great? There is an app called MyFitnessPal. If you haven't discovered it already, MyFitnessPal, if there's anything you're not sure about and you want to see the contents of it, rather than going into the shop looking at each label and whatever, just go into, you can even Google it, MyFitnessPal, and whatever the food is, there's a fair old database there built up. So I'd say nearly every food is there, somebody's already looked for it. So if you type it in, you'll find it handy enough. Audrey, how are things? Numbers are shooting up there, we're up to 14 already. Okay, so that was the first one. It was on baked beans, which wasn't where I expected to be starting this evening's live, but there it is. Again, folks, any questions you have yourselves, you're more than welcome to leave them up. I have a good bit to get through this evening. I will try and get to them at the end if you have anything. But even I'd say this evening, some of these questions could be passed over to next week. Right, that was question 1, was around baked beans. So moral of the story, no added sugar, if you can. Question 2. Actually, do you know what? Just before I finish on that, let me give you one more nugget of information for anybody that doesn't know it. Your spoon of sugar is 4 grams. Okay, so that's what it is. Your recommended daily allowance of sugar, in case you don't know that, this is for added sugar, refined sugars, is 24 grams. So 6 spoons is typically what's recommended. So you can work it out. You know, if you need to see what's in a product, you go to the back, you look at the nutritional information, it says carbohydrates and it says underneath it of which sugars. That's the line you're looking for. So it'll normally give per 100 grams or it'll give per serving. You can look per 100 grams and get a reading for 100 grams. It might be, for example, just off the top of my head, it might be 12 grams of sugar per 100, and then your product could be 400 grams for the full container, so you can just multiply your 12 by 4, and then you've got the content of the whole product. So that's just a little bit of advice for you. It's hard to explain over Facebook Live rather than talking to a person to see if they're getting it. Right, I'm going to move on. Question number 2. Slightly different, going in a different direction here. This was from another client who I've been working with for 4 or 5 weeks at this stage. She's been doing really, really well. She's been losing weight brilliantly, going perfectly right direction. Everything's on track for her. What I've brought into the online courses now, this is not an ad for the online courses, by the way. What I've brought into the online courses is a load of different elements. So one of the things we even look at now is like financial goals and stuff like that. So one of the things I said was, in one of the videos I did, set a financial goal for yourself, the same as you would with your weight loss goal, and then figure out how are you going to get there and what are the things you're going to have to do. Is there some places you're going to have to cut costs? Is there other ways you can bring revenue in? All this sort of stuff. And this is somebody who works for herself as well, so I suppose it was very relevant for her in particular. But her question to me was around goal setting, and she said, you're very strong with goal setting, so I want to know, when I'm getting close to a goal, should I move the goal again? So she basically had gone with the financial goal here, and she had said it that she was going to have this amount in the bank by the 22nd of May. Now she hit her goal on the 5th of May, because that's how good we are. So the 5th of May she hit her goal. So what she wanted to know is, should she have moved the goal again as she's getting closer? I would say no, and the reason I would say no is, get to your goal first and celebrate the success and acknowledge yourself. Because if it turns into just a constant chasing something, chasing, and there's no contentment because you're always going after something. So I think it's really, really, really important to acknowledge when you've done something well, when you've hit a goal, and just give yourself a little pat on the back and just take a minute to say, I've done that. I've hit my goal. Maybe I'm going to give myself a little reward for that. And there's that little bit of acknowledgement. And then you realise, man, do you know what? This feels good. This is worth doing. Now I want a little bit more. Rather than, you know, that she's kind of getting close to the goal and then kicks it a little bit further away again. So there's that constant just chasing it. So I would say, get to the goal first, acknowledge it, enjoy it, and then set a new goal. I hope that makes sense. Okay? Right. Question number 3. Any questions, guys? Shoot them up. Any comments? Anything you want to know? Let me know, because I'm just chatting away here and flying through like nobody's business. Okay. Next question. I'm going to keep going. You're all quiet, so I'm going to keep going. Okay, question number 3. Do you have any advice for back health in addition to the usual, like do some Pilates to strengthen and improve mobility? Okay, so do you have any advice for back health in addition to the usual, like do some Pilates to strengthen and improve mobility, especially for people that have an office job or sit down a lot? Yeah, okay, probably a common one as well. First things first, the Pilates and the core work and the strength work, very important. Make sure they're done. In terms of back strength, Pilates and yoga and stuff like that is brilliant. But even getting a few little weights in there, building up the core strength, really, really good. In terms of your practical at work, sitting down at your desk, there's a few things you can do as well. The first thing I would look at is, where is your computer in relation to where you're sitting? So make sure that your desk is set up properly. Try and have that screen at eye level, or even that you're looking slightly up. What you don't want to be doing is looking down. It's that looking down motion that's probably messing with people's back, messing with people's posture. So if you can, try and have it at eye level or slightly higher. That might mean adjusting your chair, or it might mean putting your computer up on something higher, whatever it is. Okay, so that's the first thing. Second thing I would say to you is your foot position. Hi Patricia, how are you? So with the position of your feet, get that right as well. So you don't want to be slouching in your chair. First of all, you want to be sat up tall, nice and strong, and then you want to have your hip to your knee in a straight line, and then your knee to the floor in a straight line. So there's 2 straight lines there I want you to think about. The first is your hip to your knee. So that's a straight line, which means you're sitting up straight. You're not slouched. Okay, so it's a straight line from hip to knee, and then from the knee to the floor is in a straight line as well. So your feet are not way out in front of you, or they're not back behind the chair. Okay, I hope that makes sense to you. So that's a couple of things again I would say to you. Let's recap it. It's get your screen position right. So in relation to your eyes, you want it at eye level, or you want it slightly higher. You don't want it down lower, so you're looking down and then your back is cramping over. Second thing you want is your foot position. So you want a straight line from the hip to the knee and from the knee to the floor. I hope that makes sense. It's hard to explain that without showing somebody how it works. And just make sure your posture is good as well, and you're sitting up nice and tall, nice and straight back. Okay, that's a couple of things. yeah, that's pretty much it on that. It wouldn't be something I would be a huge expert in, but yeah, that's a few basic tips that I think could work for you. But also I would say if you try and get up and move as well, move every hour or so. People tend to sit down for 8 or 9 hours a day, and of course they're starting to cramp up when they do that. Even if it's a case of just getting up and walking around the building for 5-10 minutes, having a chat with somebody. Dorothy, how are you? Welcome aboard. So yeah, just get up and move as much as you can so you're not seizing up. And another thing I would recommend, guys, I'm kind of going a little bit off the beaten track here, but for people who are sedentary and maybe in office jobs, truck drivers, the likes of people who sit down all day, think about the type of training you do in the evening. I'm not a massive fan of people coming from a sitting position in a chair to going into a spin class and sitting on a bike again for an hour. I would prefer maybe that you're doing more functional movements, that you're up and about, maybe you're going swinging some kettlebells or you're going lifting some weights or whatever you're doing, there's a little bit more movement involved and you're in different positions rather than just that sitting position at work, sitting position on a bike. It's just something to think about, just for anybody that is maybe that person. Okay, I'm going to keep going, guys. I'm flying through this evening. Again, any questions, put them up. Are you all okay? Am I losing you? Still with me, hopefully. Okay, that is 3 questions in. Number 4, I think I've got 7 questions this evening, guys. There's a lot here to get through, so I'm going to keep going. I think the Q&A is taking off. We're getting more and more questions in, which is really good. I love getting the questions in, guys, so please keep them coming. If there's anything you want to know, I'll throw it up and I'll try and get an answer for you. Number 4, do you have any nice podcast suggestions that can be followed while walking or running? I already listened to yours, which is very good. Thank you. Thank you, much appreciated. Yeah, it depends really what you're looking for. Depends what you're looking for. There's a few I listen to. In terms of personal development, Tony Robbins. I always listen to Tony Robbins. You can't go far wrong. He's probably the guru of personal development. So if you listen to my podcast and you like what I do, a lot of that is kind of mindset, personal development stuff. Tony Robbins is nearly the leader of personal development, so I would go for that one. In terms of fitness, one I listen to that it's quite good, it's okay, is the Jordan Syatt mini podcast. Jordan Syatt, I don't know if you've come across him, SYATT. He does a lot on social media. Some of his podcasts are quite good, yeah. That would be fitness related. In Ireland, I think Brian Keane is quite popular. I don't personally listen to it. I don't listen to that much fitness stuff myself, to be honest with you, because I love personal development, mindset, entrepreneur stuff. That typically is what I listen to. And I read an awful lot of fitness stuff and books from the best of the best. But yeah, I don't listen to an awful lot of fitness podcasts, but I think the Brian Keane one is quite popular. I don't know. Personal development in Ireland, we've got Pat Dibley, who's excellent as well. Recommend listening to his podcast when I'm walking. Cheers, Dorothy. Much appreciated. Yeah, that's where we're at podcast-wise. Any entrepreneurs out there, the ones I really enjoy are the Gary V audio experience. So that's Gary Vaynerchuk, the main man in entrepreneurship, I think. There's another one I love, actually, which is not as well known, and it's called Entrepreneurs on Fire. Entrepreneurs on Fire. The guy who runs it is called JLD, and I couldn't even tell you his name. I don't know it, because he always introduces himself as JLD. I don't even know what his name is. I've never even looked him up on social media, but I love his podcast. It's all entrepreneurs and people who are full of ideas and drive and energy and enthusiasm. So if you're a business owner, I'd get on that one. Anything else? I think that's nearly it. Yeah, they're kind of the main ones. They're the main ones, and my own one. Get on it, enjoy it, listen to it. Yeah, hopefully you might get something from it. So that is your podcast. Question 5, we're moving on, we're back to a training question. Sorry guys, I know I'm flying and it's an awful lot of information here to take in. Possibly it might be an idea, guys, sometimes just to get a pen and paper and make notes if any of this stuff is resonating. Question 5. Can you explain why the 20-10 formula is so effective? I'm referring to the exercises we're doing with 20 seconds on, 10 seconds off. Okay. Hey Monica, good to see you. Long time no talk. 20-10, so what this person is referring to, and I know who this person is, it's somebody who is in the live workouts I'm doing at the minute. When the lockdown started, I set up Facebook live workouts. We're doing them 3 evenings a week just to keep people active. One of the things I do with that sometimes is HIIT style, where it's 20 seconds on, 10 seconds off. The theory behind this, or the reason it's working well, I would say, for this particular client is because firstly, it's something that she's not used to doing. So if you're somebody, again, who is steady state training all the time, maybe out running, whatever, or even with sport specific people, you can get very used to a certain way of training, if it's football, if it's swimming. So the body adapts quite quickly, and at a certain point you start to find it quite comfortable. It's manageable, and even on a hard day, it's still manageable, it's comfortable. So what we've done with the HIIT sessions is it's really high impact, it's high intensity for a short period of time. You're sending the heart rate through the roof, and it's just sweat pumping and the blood pressure is up and nobody looks pretty, but it gets the job done. 20 seconds, high intensity, and then rest it for 10. And then we go again, and we go again, and we go again. So it's making the body adapt. Effectively what you're doing is putting a new stimulus on the body, something that it's not used to. And to continually make progress with training in any regard, you should always be looking to do that. You should be looking for a new stimulus rather than going through the motions, same thing over and over and over, okay? What this client is probably asking in particular, I suspect, is possibly about the ab work we do in that regard. So with the HIIT stuff, that's not always 20 seconds on, 10 seconds off. I vary that, but something I do an awful lot with ab work is 20 seconds on the exercise, 10 seconds rest, and we'll possibly do each one twice. So it's really kind of 7-8 minutes of very intense, short, sharp session with ab work rather than going on half the day. Why it works really well again is because you're not used to it, but the other thing I find with the ab work is that people are now doing it properly. People are doing it properly because I've spent a lot of time and I'm constantly banging home about get your breath work right. Get contraction on the muscle. So breathe out when you're coming up on a sit-up, squeeze on it, breathe in on the way down. So what that means is you're making the muscle work and it's fatiguing quite quickly because the abs are quite a small muscle, so they do fatigue quite quickly. So you're making it work and therefore you're probably going to need your 10-second recovery. Whereas I think what a lot of people do, in my experience in the fitness industry over the years and watching people doing ab work, an awful lot of the time it's momentum. It's flying up and down. It's sit-ups just up and crashing down off the floor and bouncing back up, and it's momentum that's carrying you. So you're going on for 2 or 3 minutes and probably at the end of it you've got a broken back rather than strong abs. So what we're doing really is we're focusing on specific movements, controlling the movement, making the muscle group work. So when you do that on abs for 20 seconds, it's going to be intense. You're going to feel that if you're doing it properly for 20 seconds. So then we take the 10 seconds off again just to give it that recovery time, and then we go again. So that's why it's working quite well for you, I suspect. I hope that makes sense, guys. Yeah, any questions? Let me get me a drop of water. Flat out talking here. Okay, I'm going to keep it moving. The next one, again, is something slightly different. It's actually great. There's a whole range of stuff to be discussed here, which is kind of nice. This one's a little bit different, and the reason I'm going to cover it is because I have a feeling the guy that asked the question watches this and consumes all my stuff. So for the next minute or two, I'm going to speak to you because this is kind of important, I think. This guy emailed me and he said he is thinking of qualifying as a personal trainer. So I'm not going to go into his circumstances because that's his own business, it's nobody else's. I'm not going to cover that. But yeah, he's thinking about doing this. He says he's passionate about training and he's looking for advice, he's looking for tips, and he's kind of late 20s and he's kind of at that point where it's do or die, will I do it or won't I do it, it's now or never type of thing. So he was asking me for a few tips and a few pieces of advice on what I thought. So I'm going to speak to you now. What I'm going to say to you here is make sure you're getting into it for the right reasons, and that reason cannot be money, it cannot be a handy life because it's not that, and it doesn't make you a fortune either. The thing about personal training is that it's not enough to just love training. And this is where people go wrong. And I mentioned this a few weeks ago on a podcast as well, or in a Facebook Live. It's not enough to love training. That's a given. If you're going to be a personal trainer, that is a given. That's every single person. If you're the sort of person who says to me, I'm going to become a personal trainer because I love training, I'm going to say to you, just do your training. If you love training, train. Personal training is about being a teacher, it's about being an educator, it's about being a mentor, it's about being a people person, it's about psychology, it's getting into people's heads, sometimes it's being a friend to people, so there's an awful lot more to it. What you really have to be looking for here is that you genuinely want to help people and you want to make a difference in the world. And if you don't get into it. That's the first thing I'd say, if you don't. Now, I know you did say to me in that email that you have a passion for helping people, so that's a brilliant, brilliant starting point, okay? So that's the first thing. Next thing I'm going to say to you is it's not all glamour. It's definitely not. And it is hard to make a living because over the last few years, personal training, fitness, nutrition, it's just exploded. And it's kind of the sexy thing at the minute and everybody wants to do it. The market is totally flooded. It's totally flooded. So you've got to be good if you're going to stand out. You have to be good if you're going to stand out. There's no two ways about it. So you need to do the work. If you're going to be good, there's a hell of a lot of work involved. It's not just go and get a qualification and become a huge star on Instagram. That's not the reality of it. Beginning, at the start, you might not make much money. It takes a lot of time to get your name out there. It takes a lot of time to build up a reputation. It's tough going. There's going to be mornings you're crawling out of bed at 5 in the morning to go and meet a client. You could be in the gym. Again, it's not ideal because people are working. So your clients, if you're personal training, they could be staggered throughout the day and you mightn't finish work until 10, half 10 at night, and you're doing that day after day after day. That's when it's not so glamorous. That's when it's tough. But I'm just trying to give you the realities of it here so you're aware of what you're getting into. What else do I want to say to you on personal training? Yeah, it's hard. It is tough. It's not glamorous. But the other side of it is it's the best career in the world. I absolutely love it. I adore it. If you're willing to do the work, you'll do well. But it's like anything, you have to put in the work, and it is very, very tough. It is tough. But go and do it. If you really want to do it, if you're passionate about it, if you're doing it for the right reasons, go and do it. If you're prepared to do the work, you will enjoy it. I mean, the rewards from it are incredible. I don't mean financial, I mean actually helping people change their lives. It is so, so rewarding when you see people that, you know, maybe had health issues or maybe couldn't even walk down to the shop, which is 300 metres away, and then the next thing they're out running 5k or they're doing mini marathons or whatever it is. It's incredibly rewarding. And I would say for you, because I know your circumstances, you've explained them to me, it is going to be tough for you, it's going to be challenging, but you can do it. You definitely can do it. I believe everything is possible. It's down to self-belief, it's down to backing yourself, it's down to doing the work, it's mindset, it's been prepared to do it for the long haul. If you do that, you'll do well. Okay, that's my little talk to you for this evening. So I'm going to get back to everybody else. I'm nearly done, guys. I'm nearly done. If you have any questions, shoot them up, because I think I've only one left here. So if you have any, there you go. Now is your chance. We've covered everything from baked beans to the life of a personal trainer. One more. I'm going to take one more. The last one. A little bit quirky, and I love getting these questions because they're slightly different rather than answering the same thing over and over. The last question this evening was, if you could invite any 5 people, living or deceased, famous or otherwise, to dinner, who would you invite? Oh man, who would you invite? I don't think I need 5 people. I'm not really the sort of person who puts other people on pedestals. I don't, you know, I have a handful of people. See, even with the podcast there, it's a very limited number. There's a few people that I admire, that I listen to over and over. It's the same with social media. There's a few people I follow and I love their stuff. And other than that, I think you can overconsume stuff, and then you start taking on mixed messages and you get confused. People I resonate with, people that I like, they're the ones that I follow. So if you're asking me who would I invite to dinner, living or dead, I'm going to keep this pretty short. I don't even know if I need 5 people. The first one is my grandmother, who's not with us anymore, because who doesn't want more time with the grandmother? So I don't need a reason beyond that. The second person I'm going to say to you is a man I've mentioned already in the podcast. It's Gary Vaynerchuk. So Gary V, I don't know if you've any entrepreneurial people watching, Gary V's the man. I love his stuff. If I Gary V there for dinner for an hour, I would find out so much about how to drive my business forward and, again, push it out in social media. I'd be a superstar in social media if I Gary V behind me. So that's one. The other person is probably Tony Robbins. I've mentioned him as well. Listen to his podcast all the time. He's the main man in personal development. He's the main man in mindset. He's one I would like to sit down and pick his brains for a while. So Tony Robbins. Slash Dr. Brené Brown, either or. Dr. Brené Brown, I love her stuff as well. She's fantastic. So I'm just giving you ideas, guys. If you're looking for books, if you're looking for podcasts, Dr. Brené Brown as well is a great book called Daring Greatly. It's an absolutely brilliant book around mindset. There's actually, I know we have a lot of parents watching, there's a brilliant section in it as well on parenting mindset. So it's possibly, I'm not a parent, so I'm not going to go too deep on that, but it's a brilliant, I thought it was really impressive. So I'd say some of you guys might like it. That's Daring Greatly by Dr. Brené Brown. So that's my first 2 or 3 people. I don't know how many I'm on. Who else am I going to say? I'm going to give you a slightly different one here. I love football. I've always loved football since I could walk. I've been kicking a ball. So I was torn here between Messi and Ronaldo. And I'm going to go with Ronaldo. And I'll tell you why I would go for Ronaldo. I go for dinner. Cheers, Dorothy. Someday. I'll tell you why I'm going to go for Ronaldo. Because I feel that guy has incredible drive, and I'm really interested to see his mindset, because I think Messi is the more talented, naturally talented guy. I think Ronaldo is the one that has worked his arse off to get to where he is. So I would love to get inside that guy's head for a while. So there's probably my 5. Recapping is my grandmother, number 1, and she's always number 1. After that, we've got Tony Robbins / Dr. Brené Brown. We've got Gary Vaynerchuk, and we've got Cristiano Ronaldo. I think I'm going to leave it at that. Is that good enough? You happy enough with that? Anybody else want to go for dinner once we all get back to normal? We'll all meet up, we'll do it all gathered in the bistro or something. I think I'm done, guys. I think I'm done. I'm not seeing any questions coming up there, so I'm going to take it that I'm finished. Am I? Can I go? Can I get out in the fresh air for myself? It's still very warm out there. It's clammy, but it's warm. I'm going to leave it there, guys. I'm going to leave it. Anything else? Those of you that are doing the live workouts with me, we're back tomorrow at 7 o'clock. Thursdays at 7. We do live workouts 3 evenings a week. Monday, Tuesday, Thursday at 7. And they're going well. Monica. Is there any motivation or lack of? How do I get back to doing some exercise? Work's been very busy, so by the time I'm home, it's kids, etc. Okay. I would look at forming a routine for yourself, and I speak about motivation a lot, but motivation is something that is not to be relied upon, because it's not going to be there more often than it is there. So always say to people, if you're only going to do the work when you're motivated, you're never going to get too far. So what you've actually got to do is focus on creating habits rather than relying on motivation. So this to me, it's like when people say, how are you so motivated to be in the gym every day? I'm not motivated to be in the gym every day, but to me, it's the same as cleaning my teeth. It's something that's non-negotiable. It has to be done. That's the way I look at it. And when you take that perspective for a couple of weeks, it just becomes second nature, and then you don't think about it. There's no decision to be made anymore. You just do it. I mean, I go and train and it's not even optional. I don't consider it a chore anymore. But I would say to you, break it down. Don't overwhelm yourself. If you've been out of training for a while, I would start slow and I'd build it up very gradually. So rather than trying to suddenly take on 6-7 days training a week of intense training, I'd start very small and I'd say, let's get 2 days done this week. You know, or it might be as simple as going for a half an hour walk each evening, and then the following week maybe you're going to add in a workout or two that's a little bit more intense. So I'd just start with what you can manage at the moment, and I'd say let's do that and give ourselves credit, rather than beating yourself up for the fact that it's not what you were at previously. It's not 4 or 5 days a week. That's okay. I mean, these are strange times for everybody. We're all busy at the moment. So whatever you can manage now is more than you were doing last week. That's the way I'd look at it. So progress, not perfection. Just get yourself started. Get a little routine for yourself again. That is number one. And you know, don't overwhelm yourself with it. Just start small. Start small. If it's a walk every day, that's brilliant. If you can do one workout that's more intense this week, that's more than you were doing last week. So ask yourself that question. Is it a little bit of an improvement on what I was doing last week? And if it is, give yourself some credit, build momentum, and then get moving from there. It's all about building momentum. I would say to you guys, number one thing here, momentum is so important. So when you get off this call this evening, do something this evening or do something tomorrow. Do not wait for Monday, because you won't do it on Monday. This is like when I finish seminars with people. I always say to them before we go out the door, I said the number one thing I want you to do is take action within the next 24 hours. Because if you don't take action within the next 24 hours now when you're feeling it, you won't do it. Everybody has to start Monday. It's this Monday thing. Tomorrow is the same as Monday. Friday is the same as Monday. I would say to you, absolutely get something done tomorrow. Just make that decision now. Tomorrow I'm going to get something done. No matter how small it is, no matter how large it is, just get something done so there's a little bit of momentum created, and then you build on that. I hope that makes sense to you. Great range of information this evening. Cheers, Audrey. Much appreciated. Glad you enjoyed it, and I hope you've got something out of it. We're here every week, guys. We're here every week. Wednesdays at 7. It's been building up over the last 2 weeks. I think we're on week 7 now, and there's more and more questions coming in, which I'm delighted about, because I think people are starting to get to know me a little bit better and they feel a little bit more okay with sending in questions now. I want you to send in questions, guys. I want you to send in questions. Don't be shy. And yeah, I think, you know, if there's one person that has that question, there's another 10 watching that has the same one. So I love answering those questions, because I think, you know, it's bringing value to people. It's what you want to know. So, you know, I can do podcasts and all that, but it's very much around what I think people need and what I think people want. So it's great to actually hear from you guys, and you're asking me the specific question that you want. So it's all good. I think that's it, guys. Am I going to get out now and go for a walk? Get some fresh air in. 10,000 steps a day is what I kind of have been doing, but I'm on a bit of a cut at the minute, so I'm kind of hitting 15, 16 most days. So finding time to walk, so I can't think you prioritise it. Make it time. Right. Wrapping it up, guys. Wrapping it up. Are you done? Can I go? Much appreciated, guys. I enjoyed that. It's always good to interact with you, and it's nice to get to know people as well, and nice to see some of the old faces jumping on as well for chat. So much appreciated. Much appreciated. I shall talk to you again soon, guys. Cheers. Take it easy.